What is up, Watch fam? Happy Friday, and welcome to this week's episode of Liquor Run. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and this is my old man, Rolly. And today we're going to be diving into a bottle of rosé and two very different vintage Rolexes. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Before we jump into the two watches we have here, a quick wristwatch check. What are you wearing, Daddy-O?
Look at this.
Love it.
Radio mirror.
Love it. On
This
this,
ostrich strap.
exactly right.
Digging it.
From the Strapsmith.
Yeah.
How you liking that strap? Is it breaking in?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But love it. Love the strap.
It's an exotic that you don't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
You know, ostrich leg.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
I'm wearing an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, probably one of the most important watches ever made. You know, one of the most luxury items ever made because of its effect on its own industry. It's really remarkable.
It's a gorgeous watch.
So, what are we drinking?
We're having some rosé.
Yeah.
Nothing pretentious.
Yeah.
You know, I think we had it
We were drinking a couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago. We're going to continue. We've got a couple more in the fridge.
I went to dinner with a friend the other night, and he was talking about rosé and how there are great rosés, and there's no doubt. But really, the primary purpose of rosé is to be unoffensive, ice cold, and refreshing.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of funny, most rosé is not really very contemplative. It can be. I'm sure there are beautiful rosés.
Yes, there are.
But there is a primary function for this particular wine at this time of year, and to be a medium for contemplation, it is not.
It could be the Pabst Spear of wine.
Right, exactly right. So, okay, so let's talk about these two Rolexes we have here. I think that one of the topics I find very interesting in the world of vintage watches is naturally the history of these brands, right? If you understand vintage, right, you understand how complex and multifaceted brand identities are. Right. People like to simplify things. That is nature, but it's not true. Right. So look at these two watches. This is a Rolex Oyster Lipton from the 1930s, and this is a Rolex Datejust from the late 60s, I believe. Okay. And what do you think? I'm not even gonna. What do you think?
Okay, so just looking at these for the first time, especially this, you can see the tradition in design carry over from here, from 1930s to the 1960s. Yep. There's a certain uniqueness, simplicity, but yet a very telltale Rolex sign. Yep. That Oyster case. That's right.
The crown.
Yeah, the crown. I was about to say the crown is almost identical.
Yeah. How about the case back? What does the case back look like here?
Let's take a look.
Very similar
case back. Yeah, look at that.
Isn't that kind of fun?
Yeah.
I mean, really,
they've stayed true to their heritage.
Very much so. But there are major differences here. Yeah. And that to me is really so interesting. Adam and I talked about not too long ago. The Rolex released a rainbow Daytona, a rose gold Daytona with sapphires throughout, diamond pavé throughout. A really gaudy watch, right? Yeah. A watch that most people would look at and say, that's BS. That's not Rolex. That's a cash grab, right? And a bling piece. Yep. But we look at it as kind of vintage watch lovers. This actually makes sense because of production that Rolex has had in the past, although not necessarily common and well known. Rolex made pavé diamond Daytonas at one point. Again, not well known. This Oyster Lipton is not a well known watch. No. But it is irreversibly a piece of Rolex history. Right. And if you understand that, you come to understand the brand more and what it is that they're capable of and what they're always going to have static. Yeah. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, no, listen, I think this is a real sweet watch.
31 millimeters. What do you think about on the wrist?
You know what? I can pull off a watch like this. Obviously, I've got a smaller wrist. Yeah. I would have no problem wearing this.
Comfortable, right? Yeah,
and you know why I like it too? Because it's got a little bit of bulk to it. Yep. So it's a mini chubby.
Yep, exactly right. So that's what they called you in college.
That's right. That's what I was called, mini chubby. So.
No, it's funny. I mean, the Rolex Oyster cases, I always say this, when people want to know about particularly 34 millimeter dates, they say, okay, well, how does it wear? And really all I can speak of is in comparison to other 34 millimeter watches. And Rolexes are always more substantial. That Oyster case is a beefy case with a lot of presence. Yeah, even at 31 millimeters, the watch has some substance. Right. And that really is, I think, really impressive. That a 31 millimeter watch can wear fairly large.
Yeah. I love the fact it's from the 1930s.
Yeah, and that dial is beautiful too.
Yeah. This is really sweet.
Obviously, the Datejust is, one of my favorite watches in the world, if not my favorite watch in the world. It has a more modern feel, although definitely vintage. It has a more modern kind of presence, whereas the Lipton is undeniably very, very, very vintage. But again, different strokes for different folks. The Datejust is definitely for more people. More people can appreciate the Datejust.
Yes.
And I appreciate that, and understand where people are coming from. But both watches are, one, fundamentally very similar, and two, truly vintage, beautiful Rolexes. And as being someone with that as my primary passion, seeing both of these in the same kind of table at the same time is awesome.
Absolutely, and then this is also. It's a lovely watch. First of all, it's in wonderful condition.
Yeah, and that matte black dial is really beautiful.
I was about to say that. The matte black dial off the silver numerals, numerated, is just a phenomenal looking.
Not something you see often.
No, you don't. This is gorgeous.
So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Liquor Run. I love talking about Rolex history and really what makes or has made the brand, what it is today. As you might have guessed, both of these watches are available in the watch shop at theoandharris.com. But more importantly, thank you so much, Daddy-O, for sitting down, having a glass of wine, and I'll see you all next week.